purpose, does the gentleman from New York rise?
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the rules and pass the bill H.R. 2929.
Thank you. And now the clerk will report the title of the bill, please.
H.R. 2929, a bill to limit the use of funds to establish any military installation or base for the purpose of providing for the permanent stationing of United States Armed Forces in Iraq or to exercise United States economic control of the oil resources in Iraq.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from New York, Mr. Ackerman, and the gentlewoman from Florida, Ms. Ross-Lehtinen, will each control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material on H.R. 2920.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume. Mr. Speaker, there have been many justifications for why we went to war in Iraq. Take your pick. We invaded to capture Saddam's weapons of mass destruction. Or we invaded to depose a dictator and bring democracy and human equal rights to the Iraqi people. Or we invaded to fight al-Qaeda and prevent them from attacking us here. So many reasons have been offered that you can mix and match, 1 from column A, 2 from column B. Whatever your favorite reason for invading Iraq, the one reason that was never offered was that we were invading Iraq to occupy their land, establish permanent bases, and control their oil. Yet among Iraqis, this perception is that the establishment of permanent bases is precisely why we invaded. And the insurgents use that perception to recruit fighters and incite attacks on our troops. The bill before us today, introduced by our colleagues Barbara Lee and Tom Allen, along with Jim Moran and David Price, will help combat that perception. It states that it is the policy of the United States not to establish permanent bases in Iraq and not to control Iraq's oil resources. Mr. Speaker, this is not the first time that the House has spoken on the issue. 6 separate times the House has passed legislation or expressing opposition to the establishment of permanent military bases in Iraq. 3 of those bills have been signed into law. Yet, from the President, we continue to get mixed messages. In May, the President's spokesman talked about a U.S. presence in Iraq that looked like our presence in South Korea. And last month, Secretary Gates suggested that the President was considering a long and enduring presence in Iraq. Whatever your position on the war, I don't think anyone here in this House believes that we should be in Iraq for over 50 years. And in case anyone needed any further convincing that pursuing a long-term presence in Iraq is unwise, the Iraq Study Group was unequivocal on the point of permanent bases. Quote, "The President should state that the United States does not seek permanent military bases in Iraq," unquote. But instead of standing down when the Iraqis stand up, the President seems intent on putting down roots. It's the wrong policy yet again. The Lee Allen bill will send an important message again that the United States has no interest in permanent bases, and I urge all of our colleagues to support it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves his